It's the main event challenge. Anik.
The time is most definitely now.
Florian.
I finish fights! I'm going to do everything possible to win.
The main event challenge. The John Anik and Kenny Florian Podcast.
Kind of amazing we got 40 minutes into the show without mentioning the name John Jones. I think that's in large part because we're trying to keep the focus on the athletes that are competing. So time permitting, we will get some thoughts from KenFlo on the way out on Johnny Bones Jones and his likely decision to step away for however long. We welcome in Ian Parker on social media, Ian Parker MMA. God, look at the pool tools and everything else, man. I want your bankroll. My kids are underprivileged.
Sorry, I just had to grab the fence a little bit before I saw Kenny. I apologize.
That's good. I like the props.
Sakai won fair and square, man. I didn't see a fence grab myself. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see it.
I saw a fence fucking pull. Grab. It's like
he almost pulled the whole thing down. Yeah.
God damn, man. You had to be fucking Helen Keller to not see that. My God.
One of the
like, I don't know what happened.
One of the more egregious fence grabs that I think I've ever seen. But it goes into the books as a second straight. I love when KenFlo nods when I update the standings.
Now we're even, man. Let's go.
Kenny was yelling, grab the fence. Grab the fence.
All right, so it is 46 apiece after a 3-2 winning week for Team Florian. I love when our official scorer, Brady Miller, comes at you guys and suggests that you've had a bad week. You know, wasn't the best week for you guys, but I love when the official scorer comes at you publicly. I love that.
No, he goes, the boys had a rough week. But, I want to throw this out there. I fucking went flawless on the undercard betting-wise. Yes, the main event challenge, obviously we both, we didn't hit Tyron Woodley, and we didn't hit Shevchenko, but makes it sound like it was either dirt or filth, and Kenny was just the least worst of the week.
Yeah.
Brady, bro, come on.
All right. We'll see if you can do better this week anyway. It's UFC 250, Nunes versus Spencer, Saturday night live on pay-per-view. 10 picks today overall, so we got to be pretty efficient with these boys. 6 featured selections, 4 quick picks on the way out. We will begin at featherweight. Featured prelim here, Chase Hooper and Alex Caceres. So Hooper was born September 13th, 1999. He is 20 years old. He needs someone to buy him alcohol. He's undefeated. He's the minus 145 favorite here as he faces 21-time UFC veteran Alex Caceres. Caceres more UFC fights than Hooper has years on the planet. Caceres plus 115, Ian Parker. Who do you like?
You know what? I think this is actually a pretty tough fight in general. I think Caceres is going to have the edge and the striking, obviously the experience. I think if the fight goes to the ground and Hooper's on top, though, I think Caceres may have a little bit of trouble with that, although he's a pretty good jiu-jitsu guy in himself. Obviously not the level of Hooper. This is a really tough pick. I thought Hooper struggled really, really hard on the feet last time around against someone with a lot less experience. At the moment, I'm going to roll the dice on Bruce Leroy here. If he could somehow keep this fight standing, I don't think he makes the same mistake that Hooper's last opponent did. So I'm going to go with the experienced fighter here and the underdog and take Caceres.
Qualifying it with the fact that he is making the selection on Monday, and Ian does reserve the right to change his selections up until he can reach me on Saturday night. KenFlo, he's going with an underdog early here, Alex Caceres, or do you like Chase Hooper? What do you think?
Man, I definitely think Caceres can win this fight. Not really keeping up with how his training is going or anything like that. I do think he's going to have the advantage on the feet. Obviously has a ton of experience. I think Hooper's going to be the better guy on the ground, as Ian said. I think, Hooper, has a lot of momentum. I think he's the fresher fighter. I'm going to go with Hooper as of right now. Not a bad pick there for me.
All right, now let us get to the pay-per-view main card. First out of the chute here in the bantamweight division, the first WEC bantamweight champ, Eddie Wineland, a plus 300 underdog here, boys, against the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley, who is minus 400. So Wineland not all that active of late, but is coming off a big knockout win last June in Chicago. O'Malley, of course, ending that long extended 2-year layoff March 7th with a huge win over Jose Teco Quinones. Ian, O'Malley prohibitively favored here, minus 400. What do you think about the main card opener on pay-per-view?
Sugar Sean, you ask and you shall receive. This is a tough test at Eddie Wineland. It seems like the guy doesn't age. It seems like all the fights over the years doesn't really impact him, and I think he's evolved pretty well. I think Sugar Sean is the better overall fighter here. That minus 400, though, scares the shit out of me because Eddie Wineland's got, striking-wise, he can knock out anyone in that division. He's not just a brawler anymore. He's gotten way more technical, and he's smart. He doesn't really fight stupid. I just think Sean O'Malley, we talk about being more fresh. I think his jiu-jitsu is way better. I'm going to go with Sugar Sean, but on a betting standpoint, if people want to take a shot at Eddie Wineland, I will not hate him for it. It's worth it with the value. It's kind of crazy.
Nicely done, and I'm glad you gave old Eddie Wineland a little shine there. Look at me calling a guy who's probably fucking 15 years younger than me, old KenFlo. I mean, O'Malley, though, the story in this one, right? He's 11-0. He's 25 years old, and I think for me, if I was able to buy a stock in a young fighter, I'd be buying shares in O'Malley. I think he will be, if not a UFC champion, he will be in that conversation once he gets his cracks against the elite. That being said, you got to take care of the Eddie Winelands of the world first, and I say that with all due respect. KenFlo, Sean O'Malley, minus 400 this weekend.
Sean's reach, just that alone, is really going to give a lot of guys problems in that division. Now, I think O'Malley has the striking and the grappling to deal with someone like Eddie Wineland. I think that Eddie is going to be a very dangerous out for him, though. This is one of those fights where you have to be focused every second of every round. If Sean O'Malley gets cocky or overconfident during that fight, that's where he's going to get caught by the veteran Eddie Wineland. So I do like Sean O'Malley, though. I do think he has a tremendous amount of potential. If he can keep that composure, stay calm, and stay focused, it's his fight.
All right, next fight here at welterweight. I like the matchmaking here. It'll be Neil Magny minus 145 versus Anthony Rocco Martin, who is plus 115. We'll have KenFlo lead this one here. So I thought Magny just looked great in that recent win over Li Jingliang. That was March 7th, UFC 248. And he'll get another one in here against another workhorse type, Anthony Rocco Martin, who's won 5 of 6. KenFlo, pretty close according to Vegas here. You going with Neil Magny or Anthony Rocco Martin?
I think this is the kind of fight that Neil Magny should win. I thought he looked great in his last fight. He really looked sharp, looked focused, was moving quite well. I think he takes this one against Anthony Rocco Martin, who is definitely very tough. He's going to pressure you. He's going to come forward. But I don't know if he's going to be able to bring the fight to the ground, where I think he'll probably have the advantage against Magny. I think Magny will be able to keep it on the feet as long as Magny's in shape, which I think he should be, and he's been quite active as of late. So it's a quick turnaround for him anyway. I think Magny gets the win here by decision.
Could be a big night for Elevation Fight Team with Neil Magny and Cory Sandhagen. So Anthony Rocco Martin, and on the other side, decision win over Ramazan Ameev last November. He fought 3 times in 2019. Only lost since 2017 to KenFlo's guy, Damian Maia. So certainly in good form right now. Your thoughts on Rocco Martin in an underdog spot against the 15-time UFC winner, Neil Magny?
I think Rocco Martin is very tough. Again, another guy whose game has just evolved repeatedly. I'm redundant with that saying, but it just shows that when these guys really stay true to the game and they take their wins and their losses in stride, it shows how far they can get. However, Neil Magny didn't look good in his last fight. He looked fucking flawless in his last fight. And this was someone who we haven't seen in a while, which we weren't used to. He was like that Cowboy Cerrone type, fight all the time. He caught a break, and that's the Magny we thought we were going to see coming off the Ultimate Fighter. Dominant, pushing the pace, using the clinch, using that reach. I think this is a bad matchup for Rocco. I don't think he gets this fight to the ground, and I think Magny's pace is too much for anybody. So I like Neil Magny here as well.
All right, featured bout in the bantamweight division. Pick 'em for us, according to Las Vegas, at least when I checked. So I know Aljamain Sterling maybe minus 120 now. We're going minus 115 on both sides of this. Sterling Sandhagen had both guys on this show over the last 2 weeks. Both guys with plus skills in all areas. I'm excited to watch them compete, Ian, but we need a pick out of you. You going with Aljamain Sterling or Cory Sandhagen?
This one's tough. Watching both interviews, obviously, both guys are confident in their abilities. They're both at the top of their game. For me, I guess I'll go with who fought a better level of competition in Aljamain Sterling. I think his last few fights, I've seen some growth out of him with his striking, more to finish, not as conservative. He's dangerous on the ground. I thought Sandhagen did an incredible job against Assunção, though. I haven't seen too many guys dominate Rafael the way he did. Although he put himself into the questionable positions, he also easily got out of it and recognized the mistake. I just think if I had to pick, which I do, this is a really tough one to bet. It really is. I'll go Aljo, based on where he is. However, I think for Cory, this is a win-win. Even if he loses, he's so young. He'll be back in no time anyway.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want Ray to be mad at me. So.
Right. I was going to say, just on principle, I'd be fading Longo's guys left and right, just betting against him.
Bit that Cory kid?
That's good. That's a good impersonation right there.
I've had 2 weeks to work on it.
Did you buy ducks and like plant them in your backyard for the sound effects? What do we got going on over there?
You know what? It's so quiet, and then I get on. That sounds a little bit more like a Manscaped ad. That sound like TJ just made. Yeah, they're around here, bro. They just follow me. It's like I've become the duck master. I don't know. It's weird.
KenFlo, I am so thankful I do not have to make a prediction on Aljamain Sterling and Cory Sandhagen, especially on Monday of fight week, but that's why you get paid the big bucks, kids. So Sandhagen, Sterling, who do you like?
You're just going to put that on my back. I already got a bad back, kid. Come on.
I know.
Yeah, listen, I think this is a very tough fight to call. I love both these guys. First of all, I love the fact that these are two very unique individuals who really put their own spin on mixed martial arts in a sport where, in my opinion, no offense to everybody, I think there's a lot of fighters that look like they're the same dude. You look at Cory Sandhagen and you look at Aljo, they're their own guy. They're doing their own thing. They have their own unique style, and I love that. So these are guys that I think, are really taking mixed martial arts to a different level in a lot of ways. And it's a tough one to call. I like the fact that Cory Sandhagen has excellent footwork. I like the fact that he has a few different ways to win. Aljo, while he likes to mix it up on the feet and can be very unorthodox and confusing on the feet, I think Aljo might be a little bit more dangerous on the ground. Now, Cory Sandhagen's height, his reach, I think is going to be tough for Aljo to deal with. I think he's going to be moving in and out, mixing in some takedowns, trying to put Aljo on his back probably late in the fight. And I think Cory Sandhagen probably has a little bit more tools on the feet. This is a tough one for me to pick, but I like Cory Sandhagen in this fight. And I think regardless of whoever wins or loses, I think both these guys can not only be contenders again, but could be champions in that division.
Very interesting. Sandhagen's frame. I just looked at the measurables, right? Because it's very rare that Aljamain Sterling runs into a guy that has any size on him. Aljo's got 1 inch in reach, but Sandhagen 5'11" listed, and Aljamain Sterling 5'7". We might need to give Aljo another inch because I'm going 5'8 3/4. And well, I do look a little bit down. I mean, never looking down at Aljo, but I do look a little down at the guy. I mean, we're 5'9" on the driver's license here in Florida.
That's right.
All right, Cole, go ahead.
I've been 5'7" since I was like in kindergarten. I'm probably nowhere near it, so you're fine.
Yeah.
The driver's license is key.
You're Aljo's height. It sounds better already.
I'm 6'4".
Yeah, get in that chair maybe.
Yeah.
Co-main event, Cody Gar Brant is the former bantamweight champion, but he's also incredibly winless dating to 2016. So he fought once each in 2017, 18, 19. Stopped by TJ Dillashaw twice, then Pedro Munoz got him. That was March of 2019, his last fight. But Gar Brant favored here, Ian, minus 145 against the plus 115 underdog, Rafael Assunção. This is the co-main event as such. I'll take your round, your method of victory. Ian Parker, you going Gar Brant or Assunção?
What was that line you said? He was intensively winless? Is that what you said?
Well, he's incredibly winless.
I hope he doesn't hear that one. That's a tough one to take in, but very
no,
true.
But that's the way you're reading the adverb there, right? Like you could say incredibly.
He's surprised. Yeah, you're surprised that he is.
Yeah. But thanks. I'm sure Ali Abdelaziz, my good friend, will text me later. Thank you.
I'm just busting the ball. I think Cody. I think this is a tough one. I just think for Cody, this is a fight where he's finally going to have someone. Yeah, these fucking ducks are annoying. I apologize. I gotta have to tell them to go away next time.
Especially the one on camera.
Hey, the floating head. You know what? Woo!
Got him.
Got me.
Yeah.
Awesome. So anyway, I think this is. Fuck. I think this is a TJ. That was good. I will give you credit where it's due. That was awesome. Man. So I really think for Cody, this is an opportunity that he's not going to get into a brawl with someone. That's just not who Rafael Assunção is. He's not known for that. Very technical guy. I think if Cody could really keep his foot movement to where it used to be, not get into the pocket, bounce in and out, and keep the fight on his feet, I think this is a good matchup for him. If Rafael does take this fight to the ground, though, I think Cody's in a lot of trouble. I just don't see it being the case. Rafael hasn't really done it that much in his last few fights. He's been very content with striking in that situation. I like Cody Gar Brant. I'm going to go by 3-round decision.
All right, decision for Cody Gar Brant, the official pick for Ian Parker. KenFlo, Rafael Assunção, 20 fights over 500 for his career. He's 27-7, been in the top 5 for years, now tries to avoid a third straight loss. He's 37 years old, trying to make one last run at a title fight. Incredibly, this man has never competed for the belt. Must win for him here if that's ever going to be a reality. Your thoughts on Assunção as a slight underdog here this weekend?
Yeah, this is a very tough fight. Now, listen, I think when you fight a guy like Assunção, you better have a hell of a lot of patience. Assunção tends to not exchange unless it's kind of the perfect opportunity. Cody Gar Brant has fought perhaps one of the most brilliant performances in UFC history when he fought Dominic Cruz. Now, the 2 performances after that, maybe you could argue it was one of the worst performances in some ways, because Cody Gar Brant is so damn capable as an athlete and as a fighter, but he lets his emotions get the better of him. And if he hasn't rectified that situation, I see him losing against a guy like Assunção, who is going to be patient, who is going to be waiting for the right opportunity to go out there and pull the trigger. And he also hits very hard. He has excellent leg kicks. He has excellent hooks. He's very good on the ground. I don't see him taking down Cody Gar Brant. Cody has excellent wrestling. He's very fast. I don't see that really being a factor in this fight. However, on the feet, how many times have we seen Cody just get way too excited? Either he lands a shot early, rushes in there, and then gets tagged himself. He definitely can't do that against someone like Assunção with that kind of experience. As of right now, man, I like Assunção by decision in this fight. It's hard for me to go against Cody Gar Brant, a guy who I've, really believed in for a long time, but you got to fix those emotions. At this point, he's been a champion. I think he's a guy who really could still be a champion if he was focused and all that stuff. I hope he's able to get his game together, but I like Assunção here. I got to go with him here as the favorite.
All right, we'll see if Mark Henry and some of that East Coast training pays dividends for Cody Gar Brant. I'm just excited to see a really good guy back in a big spot. We'll see how it goes in the co-main event. And I just like when you guys are on different sides, and that is the case with the co-main event. All right, main event, we will lead with Team Florian. First featherweight title defense for Amanda Nunes. She is -600 as a favorite here against the +400 underdog Felicia Spencer. In our scoring system, you pick Spencer, she wins. That's 5 points right out of the chute. Never mind the method or the round. So she's a natural featherweight, Kenny. She's fearless. A lot of grappling and kickboxing skills. Seth Petrozelli in her corner and Mike Lee. Good coaching. Motivation at all-time high. It's been a long training camp for Felicia Spencer. I'm trying to sort of set up everything she's got going for her. She can effectively change her life forever, Kenny, if she beats Amanda Nunes. How do you handicap her chances this weekend?
Listen, she's very tough. I think she's definitely going to be trying to rely on her grappling skills in this one, trying to get Amanda Nunes up against the cage, trying to get her tired, try to grind out these rounds one by one, and that is possible. I mean, we've seen Amanda Nunes get tired in her last fight, a fight that we thought she would be dominant in. I thought that she probably should have got the finish out there, but de Randamie obviously very, very tough. But also a different kind of fighter on the feet than Spencer is. Spencer is tough. She throws her shots, but really they're all to really set up her takedown and clinch game. I think Nunes will have a big advantage on the feet. I see Nunes winning this fight around, let's go with round 3. Round 3 TKO Amanda Nunes.
All right, the queen of the jungle, Amanda Nunes. I'm going to quickly set this up, Ian. So she wins the bantamweight title against Meerschaert, defends it 3 times. Ronda Rousey, Valentina Shevchenko, Raquel Pennington. Then beats Cyborg to win the featherweight title. 2 more successful bantamweight title defenses. I didn't realize she has 5 of those now against Holly Holm and Jemaine Sterling. Now she's trying to win her 8th straight UFC title fight, 11th straight overall, and she's prohibitively favored to do so. Ian, what do you think about Spencer and Nunes in the main event?
I'm surprised it's not minus 1,100 here, and it's not a knock on Spencer. It's just not a knock on Spencer. It's just more of an appreciation to what Amanda Nunes has done. I mean, look who she's beaten, and beaten decisively and finished. and destroyed and just cemented her legacy. I just don't see where Felicia really threatens her anywhere here. Unless in a scramble something happens and she ends up on Amanda's back. Amanda's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well. I just think that this division does not have a lot of depth. I think that's why someone Felicia Spencer gets a title shot. I think Felicia is extremely tough, though. That fight against Cyborg, she showed a lot of heart. I just think we're talking about the women's GOAT here. And, in that situation, Amanda Nunes, I was going to say round 3. I'll say round 2 just for Price is Right purposes. And let's go with the GOAT, Amanda Nunes.
All right, Amanda Nunes on both sides. You both like her by TKO. Let's get your quick picks on the way out. Middleweight, Ian Heinisch trying to avoid a third straight loss here, minus 25, the favorite against Gerald Meerschaert, who is minus 105. Ian, you going Heinisch or Meerschaert?
I'm going Heinisch. Sorry, Bilal. I apologize.
All right, KenFlo, Heinisch or Meerschaert?
Meerschaert.
Meerschaert. All right, 2 bantamweights competing at featherweight this weekend. Cody Stamann, minus 245. Brian Boom Kelleher, big win in May in Jacksonville, is plus 205. Ian, you going Kelleher or Stamann, kid?
Oh, this one's so tough. This one's tougher than the odds read. You know what? I'm going momentum. Give me Boom as the underdog.
Yeah, I can understand the quick turn. Cody Stamann's a beast, though. He's certainly been training hard. KenFlo, Stamann or Kelleher for you?
I'll take Stamann in that one.
All right, at middleweight, Charles Byrd is back, minus 170 against Coconut Bombs, Maki Pitolo, who moves up to 185 pounds. Ian Parker, you like this fight at all, Byrd, Pitolo, or no?
Give me Byrd on this one.
All right, Byrd for Parker. KenFlo, Byrd or Coconut Bombs for you, kid?
Yeah, I think both these guys are going to stand up. I like Byrd in this one as well.
All right, and then at flyweight, good fight. Alex Perez, minus 140, Jussier Formiga, plus 110. Ian?
Another tough one. As badly as I want to say Formiga, I like Perez here. His last fight really impressed me. I know it's quick pick, so just give me Perez.
Oh, it's okay to give your 2 cents. KenFlo, Alex Perez certainly has momentum. Formiga or Perez for you?
I'm going Formiga with no N.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's Minga? And why is it for Minga?
It's so weird. It's so weird. Even when I said to myself, I go, shit, it sounded like an N on the end, and I'm going to get destroyed by TJ. But Kenny's not wearing a hat, which means he's focused and he's serious today.
Yeah.
And he's on top of the way I'm pronouncing. Oh, fuck you guys.
Yeah. All right. If you want more from Ian Parker, it's at Ian Parker MMA on social media. Thanks, buddy. Good stuff. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
You got it, guys.
See ya, dude.
All right.
Later, Kenny.
Ian Parker t-shirts coming to AnikFlorianPodcast.com.